The story begins with the protagonist about to throw himself off the school building with the students running to stop him. He jumps and says that the nightmare is finally about to end, but before he turns pure, a girl with pink hair appears flying and asks if he was the one who ate Cupid's cake. After that we see the protagonist going to school and narrating about his life. His name is Jiang Hao Yi. He is 19 years old and prefers to live a more reserved and quiet lifestyle at school. For him, this is perfect, but this perfect life is interrupted when the most beautiful girl in school walks up to the protagonist in the middle of class and says she was pregnant with him. He denies, saying he doesn't even know who she is, and his whole class is like wanting to beat him up. He takes the girl Xia by the hand and runs away. He hides behind the school, relieved to have lost everyone, but when he looks to the side he sees that Xia was there too. Again talking about this guy baby of the two. He was almost giving up trying to understand when he hears a statement from the school saying that he was being sought and needed to appear in the teacher's lounge, so he tells the two to separate and meet again on the roof of the school later to talk. Once again he is chased by the students, and when he has no way out he takes a mop from the cleaning ant and simply throws the mop at everyone, knocking it over as if he were playing bowling. But right after that he is pulled into the women's bathroom by several pumped-up girls from the soccer club who hit him and ask him to explain everything. Among them is the president of the club, Xian Tang, who gets angry with the protagonist because the two have a relationship and he is seeing others, but the protagonist does not understands nothing new because he doesn't even know this girl. And that's not all. As soon as he leaves the bathroom, another girl named Yuan Lin throws herself at him, asking why he walked away from her and saying that his two daughters miss him so much. I think I don't even need to say that he doesn't know this one either, right? He gets so pressured with the situation that he runs to the roof of the school, says he doesn't know any of them and threatens to jump from there if they don't stop of chasing him. He jumps, and that's when we realize that this is the same scene from the beginning of the anime. Lightning appears from the sky. Time stops and a mysterious girl appears asking if the protagonist ate Cupid's cake. He reflects a little and remembers that he ate a cake that was on the roof the day before, and she explains that if he ate the cake and then girls ate it, they would fall in love with him, and that's what happened. The scene cuts showing the protagonist lying at his table, tired but sleepless to sleep. Then he has a dialogue with that mysterious woman who is a goddess of love in training. She says that he should be happy with everything that is happening because he has several girls wanting him, but he says that this is not happiness because he can be killed by the students or expelled by the teacher. But she tells him not to be dramatic because the problem can be solved. She says that if he can fulfill the wish more deep within him, so the magic would be improved and he would be free. After that she leaves and the time that was stopped returns to normal. Once again he hides from the students and the girls going after him and runs to the roof to talk to Xia, afraid that she would do something stupid like jump out of there or something. When she got there she was crying because she thought he had died, but he shows that he was fine and invites her to go somewhere, and she understands it as a date. Little did she know that this place was the hospital. LOL. He takes her there to see if she was really pregnant and the test result is negative, making him jump for joy. This one won't need to go out to buy cigarettes anymore. So she says that next time she will make an effort to get pregnant, and the guy makes an excuse to send her home, but she ends up taking him with her. When he gets there he discovers that she is extremely rich. He greets her butler and the two start talking. Shortly afterwards her security guards arrive, warning the butler that the school said that the protagonist got Xia pregnant, and she simply smacks the protagonist along with all the guards. He is beaten so much that he even flies upstairs where Xia was and hit the wall. So she takes him by the hand and the two start running. Arriving at her room, she tries to hold the door for the guards not to enter, and the protagonist approaches to help her. In that there is a climate between the two, and he sees a calendar where it was marked that she had lunch with her father. The butler was talking on the cell phone with her father. Out of nowhere, the guy leaves the room, takes the cell phone from her hand and tells Xia's father that it was him who got her pregnant, making the man come home with an entire army behind the protagonist. Arriving home, Xia's father asks his soldiers to beat the protagonist, and once again he is beaten, but Xia shows the negative result of the pregnancy test to prove the protagonist's innocence, so he gets up and speaks some truths in her father's face, saying that he only said that to call her father there since he realized that he wouldn't come if it wasn't otherwise. The prota continues saying that he saw in her room an old calendar with the date of the day that she had lunch with her father, and understood that that day was very important for her, and told the guy that despite giving her a lot of money, what she really wanted was his presence there. After saying that he would leave, so she didn't. This guy is smart, but Xia manages to find him. She thanks him, and when he goes to kiss him she just disappears. He doesn't understand anything, and that Cupid appears saying that she didn't exactly disappear, but that he has granted her wish. He then thinks that the spell has been broken and he is back to his normal life but realizes that he hasn't when he sees a poster saying that he was a girl's husband and was missing. Yes, this anime can get even weirder than it was already. Calm down. He sneaks past the school patio and arrives in the classroom. There he sees Xia in front of him thanking him for everything he has done and calls Cupido asking for an explanation of what was going on. She says that the false memories were really erased but the real ones of everything they went through weren't, and that if she's feeling something for him this time it's real. Cupid leaves and out of nowhere comes a girl exploding the room and attacking the protagonist. She walks towards him and kisses him in front of Xia saying that he is only hers, but then the mother of this girl who even calls him Tia appears and confronts her, beating her and taking her away. After that all the prota talks to the goddess who asks if that girl Lacona Powder ate the cake but he says no and that she has always been like that, she is his childhood friend. After that the scene cuts with him going up the stairs and the president from the soccer club Xian Tang showing up and slapping him in the face saying that I was breaking up with him, since they're not even dating but okay, right? I'm kidding bro, it's because she ate the cake. Continuing, he gets irritated with her attitude and says some very cruel things to her. Then Cupid appears to him and says that when a woman says she wants to break up it's a danger sign and he imagines that she could do something extreme like self-dies. I have to say it that way because YouTube doesn't like this subject, so he goes after her and sees her throwing water and bad treating the boys in her club. He tries to save them by taking the hose from her hand but ends up accidentally wetting her and almost shits her pants because of that. She leaves and then the anime shows her in the shower saying that she still loves the protagonist but that everything is over and that tomorrow is a new day. The next day the protagonist wakes up late for the date and that crazy childhood friend of his called Qiaokeli locks him in the room and asks his parents not to open the door. However he finds a way to escape the room and manages to get to the meeting in time. They sit down to have coffee. They stay kinda without subject and even RO to a certain climate at a certain point, until the prota saw an anime event that was happening over there on the side and conditioned Xia to participate. Then the scene cuts showing his friend Lacona entering the room and seeing that he escaped. Look at the crazy face that girl makes, he is crazy uncle. At the event the two were exploring inside when repeatedly a bunch of otaku start bumping into them taking a picture of a girl dressed as a cat. This girl is the Xian Tang, the one at the beginning of the episode where the protagonist threw water. I think her and the protagonist's face towards each other shows that this reunion was not a very good thing. She complains to the protagonist saying that he only went there to make fun of her and in the middle of this discussion she sees her friends from the club there at the event and runs out taking the protagonist and Xia along. Meanwhile Qiaokeli, who is the friend from his childhood Lacona, arrives at the event with a knife the size of a building behind the protagonist. The scene shows him and the two girls hiding at the event while she explained to him that her friends saw her as a role model and didn't want her to. They saw her with that cosplay. So the event announces that the Women's Cosplay Championship was about to start but to participate it needed to have a group of 3 girls and Xian was alone. Xia then says that they were in 3 and Xian has the idea of making the protagonist dress as a woman so he can close the group and she participates. He doesn't like this idea at all but he is forced by them in a very suspicious scene, that is to say, after Xian sees her cosplay outfit torn. The protagonist tries say a few sentences to comfort her but she gets it wrong and leaves there crying. In the background the anime shows 3 girls watching them and they were the ones who did that with her clothes so her group doesn't win. The guy goes to the bathroom to take a piss, detail that he has his female cosplay pissing in the male bathroom, until that Cupid appears again and talks to the guy. In the middle of the conversation he says he needs to surprise them and something about that. Cupid gives him an idea, right away of the championship. The prota goes to the stage and ends up falling in front of everyone. He tries to make a cute voice and conquer the audience and it works. All this was to buy time until Cupid found Xia and Xian for them to participate in the presentation in the championship group which was the most important. Then, the protagonist goes up on stage alone and says some touching things to the audience with the hope that Xian will hear. She was right on top of him and hears everything he said, but ends up falling from the crane she was on. I know this is not a crane but you can understand. Then out of nowhere time stops and the clothes of the two are exchanged. The guy manages to catch her before falling and she notices that he was dressed in a different costume than before and she was wearing a white dress. All the world of the event then thinks that they did a magic trick and they win in first place even being in 2 people. Meanwhile backstage Qiaokeli was carrying her machete and Loka to hit the stomach of some participants who were saying that the prota was beautiful. After that the protagonist goes to the women's changing room to get his clothes and Xian was inside. The magic that changed their costume before is undone and the two are naked, causing the protagonist to be expelled at the time of the changing room by Xian. After the event ends, he goes to a building at night and rings the doorbell of an apartment with a suspicious smile on his face. The person who opens the door is a strange woman that we have never seen before. She says that the two have not seen each other for ages. And episode 6 ends here. Just like the video, this was the summary of Cupid's chocolates. If you want part 2, then leave a like and comment.